What's up, Conference USA fans, and welcome back to another episode of the CUSA Insider podcast, the official podcast of Conference USA. I'm your host, Jessica Radford, and we are back doing a volleyball season preview of all 10 of our teams. Of course, when I am hosting, Eric Jones joins me as our co-host. Usually he's all things soccer, but today we're talking all about volleyball.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks into soccer season now, but yeah, like Jessica said, all things volleyball today. And this preview show, we got the expert here, and we're going to dive right on into it. So, looking at the preseason poll here, WKU at the top, maybe no surprise there, but I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on this preseason poll.
I mean, of course, the 2025, Conference USA champions, that was their three-peat of the Conference USA championship last year. So they received 9 first-place votes, a total of 81 points, second, which actually kind of surprised me. But when you really look over Liberty's head coaching, who they brought back, it makes sense of why Liberty is our second place in the preseason poll. They received 1 first-place vote. They're at 67. Tied for third place is New Mexico State and Kennesaw State. And when you look at these two programs and their head coaches and who they're also bringing back, it makes sense as well. They were at 57 points. 5th is FIU, 52 points. Missouri State, number 6, 43 points. Delaware is in that 7th spot at 40. Tied for 8th was Middle Tennessee and Jack State. They had 18 points, and then last for 10th was Sam Houston at 17. So, I mean, well-rounded poll, in my opinion. Like Missouri State, I think should be a little bit higher. If you would ask me what is a sleeper team, I think Missouri State, especially their, run in the Conference USA tournament, they knocked off the number 1 seed as the 8th seed. And, this year they're returning some heavy hitters, some key players in their lineup. So I think, people if you was to watch out for, I think Missouri State would be it.
That was my next question for you. Did you have a sleeper? But you look at the all-conference team too. Some familiar names in there, maybe some names not everyone's familiar with. What stands out to you on this preseason all-conference team? I
think the one thing that stands out is these are all returners for each of these programs. Jillian Huckabee from FIU, Olivia Burge from Kennesaw State. Liberty had 3 people on the team: Carly O'Brien, Jenna Otts, Paige Overcast. Missouri State had Hannah Garner. New Mexico State had Maggie Lightheart, and then the 5 players from WKU is Taylor Barron, their libero, Kiara Knox, who was our freshman of the year last year, Alivia Skidmore, Izzy Van D. Will, and Faith Young for WKU. And we can't skip over our preseason player of the year, who is Alivia Skidmore. I mean, she was the first team all-conference player. She was on our all-tournament team. She actually had a career high in that championship game against FIU last year. She was the AVCA All-Region Honorable Mention. I mean, she led the team in kills. She had 370. She played in all 33 matches. And then she averaged 3.42 kills per set. So this is their offensive powerhouse, their offensive weapon. And she definitely led the Hilltoppers offensively. So it all makes sense of why she is even our preseason player of the year this year.
Yeah, some definite studs on this all-conference team. And like you said, I mean, almost half the team is built up of WKU ladies. So excited to see them back at it this year, but also some of these other girls and teams going to try and make a push late in the year. Well, let's dive on into our 10 teams here, and we'll start alphabetically with Delaware. Kimberly Lambert in her 5th season at Delaware. What you got on the Blue Hens?
Well, they had an 8-17 record, which, of course, that's probably not the season that they wanted to. That was their first season in Conference USA last year. Their conference record was 5-11. And I mean, hey, they still won 5 games in Conference USA. And I think that was just like a starting point for them. What we just talked about, I said they have Asia Murray and Anna Logan Gillens coming back. And I told you I caught them the AA batteries, and they're recharged for this season. Asia Murray, she was their 2025 CUSA leader in blocks per set. She was second most in a season in program history for them, and she's currently the all-time program leader in career blocks per set at 1.2, and I think that is just crazy, just a brick wall for them. Anna Logan Gillens, I mean, she gets it done on the offensive side. She has 620 kills overall, and then they have a bunch of freshmen coming in. They have a 5-player freshman class, and that's their most since the 2021 season. So I definitely see you have 2 upperclassmen, 2 leaders that, that will lead the charge offensively and defensively on the blocking end for Asia. But I mean, these freshmen definitely need to step up for the Blue Hens if they want to, see. They're used to winning ways, especially in the CAA. I think last year they were ranked, 3rd in the preseason poll. Definitely didn't have the season that they wanted last year, but definitely this year they've seen, got a little feel for Conference USA and what to expect. And, you know a little more when you've had that 1 year of completion. So I think this year especially with the experience that Asia and Anna will bring to the team. I think they'll be in good hands. They start their season opener against Montana State on Saturday, August 29th. And then they have Rutgers on September 11th. I think that would be a huge game for them. And then they have their CUSA opener on September 25th versus Jax State. So it'll be an interesting season for the Blue Hens.
Big time. I love all the insight. Moving on down, FIU, new era for the Panthers down there in Miami. 20-12 last year, made a deep run. What do you got on the Panthers?
I think not a lot of people were shocked, but I think we were shocked just to see how the tournament was going. That FIU made it to the championship game, right? We already knew it was going to be some shakeup when UTEP was bouncing in the first round. Mm-hmm. But that game was so intense. I mean, we were biting our fingernails in that WKU FIU championship match because it could have went either way. It went to 5 sets, so we were just like, what in the world is happening? And that FIU had a really, really good team. But they're only returning 2 players, and they have 15 newcomers, because new coach here. But Jillian Huckabee is a key returner for the Panthers, and she racked up 271 kills. She also served 30 aces and collected 292 digs on the year. And Jillian is one of our SAC members, so she was here in Dallas in July, and I was like, hey, how's the new coach? How's the team? And she was like, it's great. It's good camaraderie. All the girls are getting along. They mesh well. So she feels really good about this season. And just hearing her talk about it, you see how much fun she's just having in this new era of the Panthers with this new head coach. But Flavia, she brought in Marta Lazarine. She was the 2025 Sun Belt Libero of the Year while at Georgia State. And that is a huge piece that is missing from this FIU team because Mandy Morocco, she was insane. She was our Libero of the Year. And I was just telling you, last year during that championship game, WKU couldn't even get a kill down because she was picking everything up. So that is definitely a loss for the Panthers, but she graduated. But hey, if you're getting the 2025 Sun Belt Libero of the Year, she's definitely stepping up big for you guys and will pick up everything that you probably won't even think that you can pick up. So it'll be interesting to watch this new team and see how they prevail in this season just from, having a really good season from last year. They open up the season with Stetson on Friday, August 28th. They have Florida State on September 13th. And then they have their CUSA opener on September 25th against Missouri State. So they're at Missouri State, so they have to travel all the way to good old Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, not only the Panthers, but we have another new era down in Jax State and Jacksonville, Alabama. Another team that's only returning 2 starters, 11 newcomers. What do you think about the Gamecocks going into 2026?
I think the interesting thing about this new head coach is that he returns to Jax State, but this time this is his first year as a head coach ever. He was the assistant coach in 2023 and 2024 for them before he went to Marshall to take on an assistant position, and now they brought him back for the 2026 season as a head coach. So I think he knows Jax State. He knows the program, right? And I think, yes, it's his era to step up and be a first-time head coach and, do things his way. So I think that'll be definitely interesting to see his transition into a head coach and how he can lead these Gamecocks to a winning season. Because I feel like last year they were right on the cusp, right? They've had the loss, they have the wins, and now it's just how can we step up from last year? How can we be better from last year? But they had a big transfer from Texas Tech and Laura Buchanan, key returners, and Sophia Shawork and Diana Spicer, and they look to, with that point production from this year. They lost a really, really good hitter from last year, and she graduated. So it's just all about how can you be offensively minded, and also on the defensive end, how can you pick up, how can we get those passes up and those sets really good so our hitters can put the ball down, right? Or how can we get blocks on the defensive end? So interested to see how the Gamecocks, get in this new era of transition with, so many newcomers. It is hard when you only have a few returns and you have a whole new team, right? Same with FIU. How do you mesh? How do you go? It's different when you're in practice, but when you step on the game during game time, it could be totally different. When the lights are on, it's big time and you're getting a little pressure on the first, especially starting out in non-conference. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Gamecocks, maneuver that. Their season opener, they're going against Jacksonville on Friday, August 25th. They're at Alabama on September 17th. That should be a good game. And then their CUSA opener is on September 25th at Delaware. Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned all this stuff going back to the girls and building a culture. And, it's always probably at this point of the year for them right now, they're ready to start playing other people other than themselves. I'm sure at some of these practices it gets chippy and these girls are getting after it. But again, they've been playing each other all off season now, ready to get after it with the opponents. But we'll move right along. Kennesaw State, a storied program, 14th season under Keith Schunzel, tied for 3rd in the preseason poll. What do you have on the Owls?
I honestly, going into this, thought that Kennesaw State was going to be ranked second. If you would have picked me to have my preseason poll, it would have been Kennesaw State second, just because they've had a tremendous year last year. They were 19-9. They were 12-4 in Conference USA. The crazy thing about the Owls is, and I don't think you really think about this, because when I read this note, I was like, oh, wow, they've reached a conference tournament semifinal for 11th straight year. Yes, they haven't made it to the conference tournament yet, but I mean, just to even get past the quarterfinals and get to the semifinals, that's a huge get, right? You're inching closer. You're getting there every year. And now we just need the big finale for the Owls. But hey, they're bringing back a key returner in Alivia Burge, and she's on pace to shatter every school record, blocking record specifically. She's 31 away from the total blocks record. She can definitely get that in a season. She's a definite block wall for sure. She's 23 away in block assists, and she's 11 away in block solos. And she currently holds the school record for blocks per set at 1.02. So this is somebody that you probably don't want to hit against for sure. If I was on the other side of the net, I'm like, please don't block me. Let me tool you. Yep. So I think definitely having her back in the rotation will be huge for them. Kennesaw loses more than half of his kills, but it brings back more than 70% of his blocking. And that's thanks to Burge and Maggie Berg. And 90% of his set-in production. So Kennesaw runs a 6-2. So Courtney and Kaylee Walls, they run a 6-2 in their system. So that way you have 3 hitters, and which is he's saying, I'm saying Mark Watson. Shout out to Mark Watson. Well, they're losing 70% of his hitting production. But when you have 3 people in the front row, your offensive production is going to be high, because, you have 3 hitters compared to 2 if you were running a 5-1 and your setter was in the front row. But I mean, Courtney Brown and Kaylee Wills, amazing setters for them. They get setters of the week multiple times. They did last year. So I think this this is their 3rd year just being together and running this system. I think you get better and better each year. So it'll be definitely interesting to see them prevail and them produce, but also how do your hitters produce in this scenario as well? Because, you do need that offensive powerhouse in those points to get points, but definitely you have a little sigh of relief because your blockers will hold you down. And if your blockers don't, then your back row should. So definitely excited for these Owls. I definitely have high hopes for them, and I definitely think that they could make it to the tournament and make it far. They opened the season with the Citadel on Friday, August 28th, and then they have Georgia. They're going against Georgia on September 13th. And then their season CUSA opener is against Sam Houston at home on September 25th.
All right, moving right on down to Liberty. Jeremy White, 2nd season out in Lynchburg. A really good season last year, 8-8 in CUSA play, bringing back 86.8% of their point production from last season and this year. What do you think about this year's Lady Flame squad?
Definitely, like I said before, not surprising why they were even ranked number 2 in the preseason poll. I mean, they opened up the 2025 season with a 14-1 record, and it's this best 15-match start to a season in program history. So, I mean, Jeremy White came in, and he came in strong, and he came in high. When you bring in people like Paige Overcash, who I think won 3 or 4 offensive players of the week last week in a row for players of the week. You got Carly O'Brien and then Jenna Ott on the outside. So Paige Overcash, she's the opposite. So she's on the right side. But these girls, they get kills. And I mean, last season, Paige, Carly, and Jenna, they made history, right? They had 30 kills, during a match in the 25 season. They all reached double figures in kills, making them an offensive powerhouse coming into the 2026 season. And these girls know how to put the ball down. And that's what you want, right? And you need hitters who can go around Olivia Burridge or Asia Murray, right? Your brick walls, and you need people who can, finagle the ball or hit around or even tool the block. So these 3 girls can get that done for them. And I think when you are bringing 3 heavy hitters like that, you should be nervous to probably go against them. So I definitely think Liberty is a team to watch, and not surprising of why they're in that 2nd place spot for the preseason poll. I do think that they will have a high production, and this is a team that you will want to scout heavily. And these 3 girls is probably the reason why, and it'll be on the top of your scouting reports for sure. But definitely it's just you have the offensive, but what about the defensive? And we will have to see that during the season, because you can't be all, just power. You also have to have some defensive minded, stunts in your back pocket as well. So I definitely think they'll hold it down in the front row. But what about that back row is for me when I'm looking at into Liberty, but definitely they'll be high on our list and our standings that I'm thinking of, just because Jeremy White as a head coach, just what he proved in the first year is just phenomenal alone. And then just being 8-8 in Conference USA. And I mean, the only way to go is up, especially when you have key returners like that. So it'll be interesting. They open the season against Auburn on Friday, August 28th, and that's not going to be a hard get. They're at Virginia on September 1st, and then their season opener is on September 25th versus Middle Tennessee. So they have an exciting season ahead of them. Always
Liberty Sports scheduling well in the non-conference. You'd love to see those marquee matchups for them. But moving on down to Middle Tennessee, probably hoping for a bounce-back year. 3-13 in league play last year, but 11 newcomers. So some fresh faces in Murfreesboro. What do you think about this year's Middle Tennessee squad?
I think Alexa Keller, this is her second season. So, you're getting the feel of the conference and you're getting the feel of your recruiting and your team. But I definitely see their, videos and their pictures on Instagram and on X, and, they're getting after it. But I think one of the key returners to even look at is Caroline McCander, and she's their setter, right? She led the team in assists in 2025. She had 885. She was at 8.35 assists per set, and she had 16 double-doubles last season. So this is your anchor. This is who you want to lead your team. Your setter is the one who's calling the plays. She's calling the shots. So she already has a year under her belt with Middle Tennessee and Alexa Keller. So I think, you will definitely have to rely on Caroline. Michaela Dula, she led the team in blocks. She had 97, 86 blocks assists, 11 solo blocks. She played in 101 sets, so she's returning for them too. So you have Gabriella Klinkscale. She started in all 28 matches. So she had a breakout season last year, and although half of her production didn't start into the latter season, but that's what you want. You need to grow, especially as a freshman. So definitely, you're probably as a sophomore, you got the feel of it now, you got your feet wet, you got some confidence because in the back half of last season, you started to do well. So how can you transfer in your freshman campaign into your sophomore season? But she had 192 kills, 82 digs. So I definitely think she'll start off the season very well for them. So that would be exciting just to see from a freshman to a sophomore, you grow a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's always interesting to see how you go from your freshman year to your sophomore year. But hey, the Blue Raiders, they opened their season with Boise State on Friday, August 28th. And then their CUSA opener is a hard one. On September 25th, they're at Liberty. They're in Lynchburg. So that would be interesting to see how the Blue Raiders prepare for that one.
Yeah, real test to start league play. But yeah, let's go down to Missouri State here. Second year in the league. Obviously had a big upset win in the conference tournament last year. Let's hear your thoughts on Missouri State.
So they was 12-17 overall in season, 6-10 in Conference USA. They got that 8th seed in the tournament, the last one, and they upset the number 1 team, UTEP, in the tournament. I think that was huge because it was in 3 sets. They didn't even go to 5. So it was a huge get from Missouri State. They were excited. It was so good to see, especially for Stephen McRoberts, and just see him celebrating with his team. The water was everywhere in that locker room. We went in there and watched him celebrate it. So that was fun to see. But a key return for them is Hannah Gardner. And she is a setter in the opposite. So she sets in the back row. When she gets to the front row, she's hitting for them. So amazing get for Stephen. And the things that Hannah Gardner is just able to do on the court, it was amazing just to even watch her in last year's tournament. Because at first I was like, wait, she said it? And I'm like, wait, she's hitting. So she does it all for sure. You would definitely want a Hannah Gardner on your team if you could get one. She was one of 4 players nationally in 2025 with at least 180 kills, 480 assists, and 210 digs. She collected a pair of triple doubles on the season, and that's the first by a freshman in school history.
Incredible.
Exactly. Yeah. But phenomenal things that Stephen McRoberts are even doing for the Missouri State volleyball program. He enters the 2026 season ranked 5th among active Division I coaches with 669 career wins. And it's crazy because he'll face the top 3 coaches on the list this season. And you know what's wild about that? The 2 people on that list is in Conference USA. You got Travis Hudson at WKU and Brenda Gray at Sam Houston. Also, who's on that list is Stephen F. Austin, Debbie Humphreys, who's also an amazing coach as well. So you're going to get some heavy hitters. Missouri State definitely has a testament to their season. They have their season opener with Idaho State on Friday, August 28th. That SFA game is on August 29th. They're at Iowa on September 12th. Okay. And then their season opener is on September 25th versus FIU. So we have, somebody that's second in the league as far as school-wise, and we have a first-year head coach. So we'll see how that works.
Sounds like a fun year in store for the Bears up there in Springfield. We'll go down to New Mexico State here. Head coach Mike Jordan, 29th season. Looks like, 2 wins shy of 600 since being at New Mexico State. 14-16 last year, 7-9 in league play. this will certainly be, I think a revamped, probably New Mexico State squad. But I want to hear your thoughts.
New Mexico State is always near the top,
Yeah.
so it's not really surprising that they're even tied for third on the preseason poll. They always have, a well-rounded, good volleyball team, and that's just a testament to Mike Jordan, what he's built in his 29 seasons at New Mexico State. But they're bringing back a heavy hitter in Maggie Lightheart. She finished the season as the Aggies' top offensive performer and one of the most impactful players in Conference USA. She led New Mexico State in kills with 355. She had 3.17 kills per set, and she had 445.5 points on the season. And then your return to Michaela Martinez. She started in 27 games. She had a 349 digs at 3.42 digs per set, and she led the team in both categories while also posting a .954 reception percentage on 482 opportunities. So you hear me talk about offensive, but where's your defense? New Mexico State got both in these two people. But New Mexico State is definitely always a team to watch out for. They're always energetic. They go after it. They're hungry to win. They always want more. It's always fun watching them and how they are on the court and just seeing how, Mike Jordan leads his team. But the Aggies is definitely always one who you have to have in your head is like, we got to watch out for the Aggies. Yeah. So no surprise on why they're tied for third in that poll. They open up the season against Tulsa on Friday, August 25th, and then they open up the season versus WKU on September 25th. So we talk about a testament to the start of their conference play or their season. That one will be one for sure, especially when you're in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I'll certainly be circling that one on my calendar. That's going to be an incredible match for the Aggies, Hilltoppers as well. We got two more teams to talk about here. Going into Sam Houston, I know we just talked about head coach Brenda Gray. 43rd season for her at Sam Houston, 787 wins. Let's hear a little bit about these Bearcats going into 2026.
So last year probably wasn't the best season overall for Brenda Gray, especially in her winning ways. They were 11-18 overall, and they were 3-13 in Conference USA. So I think you're returning two of your starters, right? And you have 8 newcomers on the team, and one of your starters is so good for you, Chloe Munson. She had a spectacular freshman campaign that earned her the all-freshman team honors. She tallied 434 kills for 3.65 kills per set average. She reached double figures in kills in 22 matches on the year and had 20 plus on 7 occasions, including a career high 29 kills at Delaware. So this is a girl that you want to feed the ball to, obviously. And if you can get her the ball and she can put the ball down and get you points, I think that Sam Houston has a team here. And it's just like, not just Chloe, if your newcomers step up, if, it can't just be all Chloe. So it'll be interesting to see how these Bearcats rally around Chloe. That is your power hitter and you want to feed her the ball, but who else can step up in that? And I think that would be huge to see how Sam Houston's, season goes. If everybody can step up and everybody can produce just as Chloe Munson can, I think this will be a team to definitely watch out for in a sleeper team. And that's what you want in a team for sure. You want to be, the underdogs and you want to have that success. So it's definitely an exciting time for Sam Houston. I feel like they open up the season. They are hosting their own invitational, and they go against Cal State Fullerton and Miami, Ohio on Friday, August 28th. And then they have their season opener on September 25th at Kennesaw State. So that will be another test, another team with another test to start out conference play. So definitely, I'm excited to see how the Bearcats go this season.
Well, certainly, last but not least here, got to talk about WKU, what Travis Hudson has built up there in Bowling Green.
Insanity.
But I'll let you take it away with the Hilltoppers.
Travis Hudson he's in his 32nd season, 807 wins, 240 losses, all at WKU, 2025 tournament champs, 3rd consecutive championship for him. I mean, you're returning 5 key players and you are welcoming 4 newcomers. And I think they're 27-6 overall last year, 15-1 in Conference USA. They were co-regular season champs. And to really think about it, their only main loss is Callie Bauer. And that is the main question for me. That is the biggest storyline in this WKU Hilltoppers volleyball is how can Kate Rush replace Callie Bauer, right? And I think that she did that. She filled the role when she was called upon. I think Callie went down with injury for a couple games and she stepped up big. But Kate Rush, she played in a total of 27 matches. She started 6. She appeared in a total of 64 sets. So, hey, Travis Hudson was throwing her out there. Get your feet wet, get a feel for it. But this one is big first. She helped lead the Hilltoppers to a 3-set sweep of number 25 at the time, Dayton, on September 5th with 31 assists, 7 kills, and 4 total blocks. So she's already, used to going against some ranked opponents. So I think she will step up definitely for sure. But it's like, how can you transition to that, right? She's a sophomore, right? She's an underclassman. And having that is probably a weight on your shoulders, but it's also, can you step up? And I think Travis Hudson, of course, trusts her to do that, especially if you're, throwing her out there against number 25 Dayton and she got the win for you guys, because you are only as good as, as the sets that are putting out, as your defensive, as your leader on the court. But not only is Kate Rush coming back, but you have Alivia Skidmore, Kiara Knox, who was our 2025 Freshman of the Year, Izzy Vandy Will, she was our CUSA Defensive Player of the Year last year. You have Faith Young. I mean, you have some heavy hitters, and all of these people, they received first team honors last year. Taylor Barron, who's their libero, she was named to the second team. So this is endless possibilities here. If I was, a team going against them, and how can I forget this? They received 33 points on the AVCA poll, and that is their 17th straight season of either being ranked or receiving votes on this poll. So just a huge testament of what Travis Hudson has built at WKU, and the brand that WKU volleyball is just nationwide is insane. It's just something to appreciate. It's something that I love to just watch every single season. But it's just an amazing thing of what this team can do. And it's just each year, it just gets better. Sometimes you probably think that you have a down year, but is it really a down year when you really think about last year? Yeah. It's just, you had so many good accolades, so many good accomplishments. It probably didn't end how you probably wanted to. You still got that 2025 CUSA tournament win, but NCAA wise, probably didn't go as far as you wanted to. But I think this year you have experienced people who's, felt that loss together. They felt those wins together. So they know how to win. They know how to lose together. And I think that only prevails you as a team when you go through that as a team. So they open up the season against SEMO in Oregon on Friday, August 28th. They go against Receiving Votes Dayton on September 5th. They have Louisville and Oklahoma at home on September 17th and 18th, respectively. And their CUSA opener is at New Mexico State on September 25th. So very high caliber schedule for the Hilltoppers. I mean, it's always like that every year. So keep voting on the Hilltoppers for the AVCA poll. Let's hope that they get ranked during the season. And I think it'll just be an interesting season overall for Conference USA. Our tournament is November 20th through the 22nd at Bowling Green, Kentucky. So WKU will be hosting it. So if you want to book your tickets out to Bowling Green, Kentucky, I would do so, because that was one. It's going to be a heck of a tournament. It should be so fun. Bowling Green knows how to host a tournament. Yeah. We was there my first year there. Facility yes, really good facility. So there's just interesting times for volleyball.
Oh, yeah. Excited. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Friday, August 28th is the start of the season. So excited. And speaking of WKU, coming up next, we have our preseason player of the year, Alivia Skidmore, here for an exclusive interview. Joining us today on the CUSA Insider podcast, we have outside hitter from WKU, Alivia Skidmore, who was tabbed the 2026 CUSA Volleyball Preseason Player of the Year. Alivia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
What does being the preseason player of the year mean to you beyond the award itself?
I mean, it means a lot. I'm really grateful for this honor, but I think it also just shows, the hard work that me and my teammates put in every day. My coaches pushing me to be, where I'm at now. But I think it's early in preseason. Season hasn't started yet. So I think I just want to work my hardest this season and then try to lead my team in any way that I can.
You finished the season last year with 370 kills against the championship match against FIU. You had a career high 25 kills. So what did you learn about yourself from that postseason run?
I think just to be fearless, like any situation, just raise up, go make plays. You're going to make mistakes, but just be courageous.
You're a junior now, so you're one of the upperclassmen on the roster. How has your leadership role within, this team changed this season?
Definitely a bigger role now. And I'm grateful and excited to take that on. It's a little, last year was maybe a little bit more outside of my comfort zone, but this year I've definitely stepped into it and just want to lead my team just in any way that I can.
WKU was picked to finish second in the preseason poll and has now won 3 straight consecutive CUSA tournament championships. How do you keep that success from becoming complacent?
I think just staying consistent every day. We go into practice with, I think it's also important just not looking at like the big picture of just winning a conference championship, but I think even like the regular season championship, because that shows the hard work that you put in every weekend instead of just the tournament where it's like 3 or 4 games. So I think just going in, being consistent, what we do every weekend.
You guys have one of the top 30 non-conference schedules in the country this season. You're playing Louisville, Oklahoma, Oregon, Dayton. How has the preparation been like to prepare for those teams?
It's going to be a battle. We know some games we might get knocked down a little bit, but I think it's going to be about just coming back the next day, being ready to play, and practice, just preparing for those tough situations. So
let's talk about your own off-season and preseason work. With games starting this week, what is one area of your game that you worked hardest to improve during the off-season?
I've worked on a lot of out-of-system play. If we're off the net or whatever, it's still important to get an aggressive swing or even place the ball well. So worked on a lot of out-of-system with our defenders, and yeah.
I will say out-of-system is the hardest, so definitely, that would definitely pay off in the long run for sure. What type of team bonding activities have you guys been doing that maybe Coach Travis has implemented, or you guys just opted in yourself to do? Team chemistry is very important, so what have you guys been doing?
We went to the lake one weekend in preseason. Our coach actually has a lake house, so the whole team went there for the day, and that was really fun. And then we eat all of our meals together in preseason, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we're all super close. We lost 3 people last year, but everybody else stayed. So, really good bond together.
Kate Rush is stepping into that starting, setter position. So what have you seen from her growth entering into her sophomore season?
I have all the confidence in her. She's such a great competitor, and she's worked a lot in practices, before practice, after practice. So I think she's also grown into a great leader. She's always pushing us, talking. I think she's doing great.
You already mentioned how a lot of you guys are returning. 5 players were on this all-conference preseason team, yourself included. You got Izzy, Kyra, Taylor, Faith. How dangerous is this team this year with everybody returning, especially from that championship team last year?
It's super exciting. Our gym is such a competitive environment. I think we push each other every day. So it's super exciting, with 5 people named. I think it's great to have that in your gym.
If you could describe this team in 3 words, what would it be and why?
That's a good one. Let me think. I would say definitely competitive, tough, and what's another one? I think just we have a joy for the game as well too. We all in practice, we're always pushing each other, talking a little smack here and there. We also know we can have so much fun with each other, but we also know when to flip the switch, and it's time to lock in, be competitive here. So I think that describes it.
Oh, great answer. I love it. If you could pick one player that we haven't mentioned, because we have mentioned several already, for one fans to look out for this season, who would you choose?
I think Sonia Loxonen. She's worked a lot this off season. She's spent a lot of time in the gym just on her own too, working on her game. So I think she'll definitely be a player to watch this year.
You're from Florence, Kentucky. So what does it mean for you just playing at Kentucky and just playing in your home state? How is that for you?
It means a lot. Western has a great fan base, and I'm only about 3 hours from home, so it's nice that my family can come to games and they can come support too. So I love playing for Bowling Green. I love the city. The fans are amazing. So
who has had the biggest influence on your volleyball career?
I would say my mom, just because she's pushed me so much since I was younger, always taking me to travel tournaments or showing up to all my games, even just giving me advice and words of wisdom when maybe things aren't going as well as I want them to. She's always been a big supporter for me. So
when you picture the end of the season, what does success look like to you?
I think success looks like to us is, winning a regular season championship, just because that shows the work that you put in every weekend. It's hard. Once you're in the conference tournament, you're playing 3 or 4 games, however many it is. But I think regular season just shows that you've showed up every single weekend to play.
I love that you said us when, I directed that question to you. So, that's a testament to you and your team for sure. No, I love that answer. My final question for you is, what is one message you'd like to give the Hilltoppers fans going into this season, especially since you guys are hosting the CUSA tournament this year?
Yeah. I mean, just show out and support. I think we're going to have a great year. Non-conference, we have a really tough schedule, but, we're going to need your support there, and we're super excited to get the season started.
Olivia, thank you so much again for joining us. Good luck this season. We are wishing you guys all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's all we have for you on today's episode of the CUSA Insider Podcast, the official podcast of Conference USA. Don't forget, we still have our football previews going on. We still got a couple left. Those come out on Tuesday and Thursday. As always, you can watch us on YouTube. Type in Conference USA in the search bar. Go to our podcast playlist, and you can look at all of our podcasts that we have filmed so far. For all of our audio listeners, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify is where you can catch us. I'm your host, Jessica Radford, and I'll see you guys next time.